morning and welcome everybody. We really appreciate you sharing your time with us this morning and honoring the mother of Ouija, Ms. Helen Peters Nosworthy. It's a beautiful day. It couldn't be any more beautiful than it is right now. And I want to say just thank you again and welcome to this Unveiling. We're in the middle of creating history again. We're taking something that was old from the past, bringing it into the future, and immortalizing it for the way into the future. This is going to be here forever. And we're going to always honor Helen Peters Nosworthy. So I have a few thanks I want to say. Thank you to you guys. But I want to also over here thank Jim Cavoto. He's with the Fairmount Cemetery, and he's been critical and crucial to this, putting this stone in. Worked so closely with us, and with Bob and everybody else here at the Talking Board Historical Society. So my name is Karen Dahlman, and I am a director of the Talking Board Historical Society. And today you're going to be meeting a lot of us directors. We're all here, with the exception of Bob. And I also want to thank Bob, because if it wasn't for Bob's foresight, I would say, that foresight, and his uncovering, and the rest of these directors here, uncovering the history and connecting the dots, we would not be standing here today. You know, she was kind of lost in the history, and now we're bringing her back up. But Bob, his back is bad, he's okay, but he's definitely here with us in spirit. Now I also want to give a big thank you to the family. They're over here behind the tree. We've got the great-great-grandson and great-great-granddaughter. So Lauren and William are here. Their mother is Kay Fenneler and her husband Doug. And this is the family members, and this is part of their plot here. So again, thank you all very much. I'm going to hand this off now to Jim Cavoto, as he is with us for the Fairmount Cemetery. So come on up. You're welcome.
Thanks. We're just excited to find out that Helen is, we obviously knew she was here, but we didn't know anything about her. And so when I met with Merch a couple of months ago, we started opening up our eyes to all the stuff going on. So I'm actually with the Cemetery's History Foundation, and we do a number of events. One of them is Famous Women from Colorado. Another one is History Mystery Tours, which we do in September and October. So we're going to do our best to get Helen on those tours. At the very least, we'll get her involved so people will know where she's at. And again, thank you, Karen, and we're just excited that you guys are here and that we now have this awesome marker. And thank you, family, for letting them do this. Okay, thanks.
And now I'd like to introduce to you one of the other directors of the Talking Board Historical Society, Gene Orlando. Come on up. Ow!
So this is from the City and County of Denver, Office of the Mayor, and I'd like to read it to you. Greetings. Today you are celebrating the life of Mrs. Helen Peters Nosworthy, who is buried in the Fairmount Cemetery here in Denver. Mrs. Peters Nosworthy is considered the mother of the Ouija Board because of the role she played in naming the now iconic game and for securing the patent on the invention. She convinced the official at the patent office to issue the patent after an astounding demonstration that spooked everyone present. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and in her later life moved to Denver to live out the remainder of her days with her beloved husband, Ernst, and her adopted daughter, Mary. We join the Talking Board Historical Society in honoring Mrs. Helen Peters Nosworthy in the unveiling of a new monument dedicated to her in Denver's Fairmount Cemetery. Best wishes for a successful celebration. Respectfully, Mayor B. Hancock, Michael B. Hancock, Mayor. So you may recognize these. These are Ouija boards. This is from 1890. This is from today, 2018. A little bit of difference, but still the iconic name Ouija. Now, until recently, we thought that the name Ouija was Ouija, French oui for yes, ja, German for yes, so yes, yes. And this is what we all thought. If you go online and you look in a dictionary, that's the definition that you're going to get. That is until Robert Murch was searching the archives of the Baltimore Sun, like he often did, and he came upon a series of letters from the actual inventors of the Ouija board, people that put it together. The patentee, the man who did the patent, Elijah Bond, and the first manufacturer, which was Charles Kennard. And they described an interesting situation where they got together and they named the Ouija board. And what was so fascinating about this was they were together with Helen Peters, who was Elijah Bond's sister-in-law, and they were doing a session, and they wanted to ask the Ouija board, because it hadn't been named yet, what is your name? And the Ouija spelled out O-U-I-J-A. And they said, well, what does that mean? And the Ouija replied, good luck. Helen then pulled from her neck a locket, and on that locket was the picture of a woman's face. And at the top of that locket was the name Ouija. Well, Elijah Bond said, well, were you thinking of that? Was that a part of what you were thinking about when you named the board? And she said, no, definitely not. So the name stuck, and that is called the Ouija. Now Helen was more than just the namer of the Ouija board. She also went to the patent office, like I just read you from the mayor's proclamation there. And this was after trying to get the board patented for months and months and months, and not being able to do it because the patent people would look at this thing and say, what? No, this isn't right. This isn't going to work. You're not going to be able to use this to contact any spirits or anything else. So finally they went to Washington, D.C. When they were in Washington, D.C., they went right up the line to the top inspector. And he came over and he looked at it and he said, no, I'm not going to do that. And they tried to convince him, and he said, okay, listen, if you can convince me, you don't know me, I don't know you, but if you can tell me what my name is, then I will grant you a patent, which the board immediately spelled out his name, and the patent was granted. And that's how it became patented as the Ouija board. Now, Helen was born in Baltimore, but she moved here to Denver, where she lived her life with Ernest, her husband, and her adopted daughter, Mary, for many years. And is here, and Helen, hello down there, you can hear me. I hope you like this. So we are celebrating her life today. And someone to talk about the stone itself, the monument, is our talking board director and historian, Brandon Hodge.
The Ouija itself began as a remarkable collaboration by an incredible community of varied people. It started in Ohio among spiritualists who collaborated to try to refine and expedite spirit communications to make things easier in order to communicate. This idea spread to a couple of commercial entities, gentlemen E.C. Reish and Charles Kennard in Chestertown, Maryland, who took this idea and manufactured some boards sort of for the local scene. One of them, Charles Kennard, thought there was commercial appeal to this item, moved to Baltimore, and sparked another collaboration, the beginning of the Kennard Novelty Company, which was later the Ouija Novelty Company. And that included the patentee Elijah Bond, who we've heard from today, Elijah Bond's sister-in-law, Helen Peters Nosworthy, Washington Bowie, their attorney, and so a series of incredible collaborations that resulted in the board that would become the Ouija and persist today. And of course, this fascinates a whole group of us that have another collaboration ourselves, and that's the Talking Board Historical Society. Our first major event was in 2008. That's when our founder and chairman of the board, Robert Murch, discovered the location of Elijah Bond's tombstone in Baltimore in the Greenmount Cemetery, and found that it was an unmarked grave, and felt that this was an injustice for a historical figure whose name was so closely associated with the Talking Board and Ouija. And so began to gather, like Kennard had in the past, began to gather collaborators and those sympathetic to this lost history. And the Talking Board Historical Society at that moment was born. A disparate group of uncanny rogue collectors who were brought together for the purpose of spreading and promoting this history. And that remains the Talking Board Historical Society mission to this day, to preserve the history of the Talking Board, to dispel superstition and, frankly, false history that's been put out there, to set the record straight, if you will. And part of setting that record straight is including Helen Peters' enormous contribution to the Ouija, giving it its very name. And so one collaboration begets another. A lot of similarities between this stone and that first collaboration. Ziegler Monuments, we would like to thank, made the first stone and made this stone as well. So they are related. They're both Baltimore stones. We felt that was particularly fitting. The design through our director, Mike Buckner. Where's Mike? Thank you, Mike. Incredible design, as you'll see momentarily. And and our supporters, those who follow the TBHS and follow our history, heed it, and help us preserve it by spreading it. And so that remains our mission. We also want to, again, thank the family. We have a token here. We could not have done this without Kay and Bob, and if you'll step forward. So this is actually the original plate that was once at this site. You'll notice, like Bond's unmarked grave, Helen was also unmarked here. And so we hope she'll find it fitting that we've now given her some due recognition. Her name is not present here, but we thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity to properly honor Helen, and a little keepsake. This one's heavy. You might want to get it out here. I had to lock that all the way over. Thank you so much. If I forget anything, check your notes. I think we're good.
All right.
All right.
Without further ado.
Drum roll.
We invite you. There's stuff on the back as well, so please come up, take a closer look, and take a look around the back. Don't be shy.
Yep. It's all yours.
It's all yours.
It belongs to the world now.
This is the most brand new board on the show. I see how it changed quite a bit. I figured they were Did you guys got a picture of it?